Any idea on the extremes of sun and the moon? Just as it appears here, bright and red sun, cool and blue moon. I don't think so. There are extremes for both sun and moon based on their positions. Just let me tell you, there are these longest day, shortest day, waning and waxing of moon and all. These are quite interesting, to be frank. You see, we have the longest day for us, especially for India being in the northeastern hemisphere of this earth. It is on June 21st, which is also called as summer solstice. S represents summer. Solstice is nothing but the position of the sun, sol in the sun, sun, solar sun, okay? And it is also an area of shortest day, which is on December 22nd, and it is called winter solstice. So what exactly am I meaning by these? Well, it is quite interesting to learn about the movement of the earth around the sun. In a particular position, we observe that sun and earth are quite closer to each other, which is called aphelion, and they are quite far away, which is called perihelion. Suppose say this is the sun and this is the elliptical orbit, and you assume this is the geoid shape of the earth, but it is slightly tilted, okay? So you see, this is quite far away, so sun rays are very less, but at the same time you can observe that the northern hemisphere is quite far away from the sun, whereas southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, where the rays of sun are getting directly focused on, exactly more concentrated on the southern hemisphere than in northern hemisphere. So obviously northern hemisphere will be less warm, and at the same time you can observe that the day duration is quite less than the night duration, and from here on the day duration goes on increasing, something like this sort. Of course it is tilted, but it tries to reach towards the sun, okay? So here the northern hemisphere is somewhat on to the earth rays, but southern hemisphere is also, something like equal. That's what is called as equinox, okay? But till then you can observe that slowly the tilted position of the earth is getting upright, or it is tilted itself, but somewhat it is coming that the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere both are getting equal quantity of sun rays. So here you will be having equal day and night. But again, as you can observe here, let me draw in a tilted position. So this is the earth is in geoid shape, you don't wonder, okay? So here northern hemisphere is getting much of sun's impact, whereas southern hemisphere is far away. Unlike this, I think you can observe this is quite opposite to this picture, where northern hemisphere is far away from the sun. Here southern hemisphere is far away from the sun. So here we see the shortest day, but here we see the longest day, and it is called as summer solstice, which is on June 21st. Okay, and happy Makar Sankranti. We usually say it on Jan 21st, and we feel that from then onwards, actually it is usually said that summer will just start after this Sankranti, and we feel very cool, isn't it? That's why on Bogi festival day, we just get that campfires and all, and we welcome the warmthness of the sun. But it is on Jan 14th, somewhere here, okay? And this is on 21st March, equinox. And from December to Jan 14th, on which we celebrate Makar Sankranti, it is obviously 24 days gap. But actually, it seems that we need to celebrate Makar Sankranti on December 22nd itself, because from that day onwards, the day duration goes on increasing. You just keep this part aside, okay? Just focus on here itself, okay? So here from December 22nd onwards, we can say that day duration is gradually increased. This is the shortest day now, so after the shortest day, again as the earth movement is going on with its tilted position, the northern hemisphere, which is quite far away from the sun, just due to its movement somewhat becomes equal with the levels of north and south, and then it becomes quite closer to the sun by the time it reaches the June, like 6 months duration. Okay, but yes, we need to celebrate Uttarayana on December 22nd, because it is then the days are becoming longer, gradually starts the day duration to become longer. So we can say that the sun's impact is gradually becoming stronger. So we need to celebrate Makar Sankranti on December 22nd, but we usually celebrate it on Jan 14th, because the earth movement, it's not exactly on the same position every year. It also just goes in a random way, but the position of the earth to reach that part is 24 days ahead, which we have seen here. It took approximately 1000 years for this winter solstice to step into Jan 14th. Okay, these are some phenomenal changes, but actually this doubt must have arisen in your minds that it should be on December 22nd, but it goes on Jan 14th, and we usually say it as Elders Festival, where we celebrate the harvest of the farmers and all. But actual reason is that we are welcoming the sun's warmth, and it actually begins from the December 22nd day onwards, where the daylight duration goes on increasing. But we usually celebrate it on Jan 14th because of the change in Earth's position that took over 1000 of years, and it went ahead by 24 days, that it is being celebrated on Jan 14th. This is about the extremes of the sun, where you see the maximum sun's impact over here. This is called the summer solstice, and the least impact of sun, we being in the northern hemisphere. As I said earlier also, we consider all terminologies with respect to northern hemisphere itself, and this is the shortest day of the sun. Fine. So similar way, we also have the cool blue moon. It is also having its extremes, like the increasing moon illumination is called as waxing, whereas the decreasing moon's beam is called as waning. Why is it is happening so? This is quite interesting, but it is not visually representable here in my video, but you please check in the Google or just go through some random website. You will be wanted to learn that we are facing the moon, only one side of the moon. You see, this is the earth and this is the moon, and somewhere here is the sun. Okay, so this is the moon, this is the earth. Okay, you see, sun rays are falling on the moon. Just a random figure. Sun rays are falling on the moon, but we observe only one side of the moon. Actually, this is something of this sort. Okay, this is the face of the moon, this is the back of the moon. Just assume. Okay, and this is quite interesting to learn that we are facing the face of the moon, or just one side of the moon. If you are on this earth, you are facing only one side of the moon, which is visible to us, and this is like a non-luminous body. That means it is not self-illuminating, but it is emitting light just because it received the light. Okay, that's what is called as planet. It's not star. Moon is something like a planet or a satellite or moon or planet. These are all celestial bodies wherein they do not emit light by themselves, but they radiate it due to the earth's due to the impact of some nearby star. Unlike this, itself emits its own sunlight, and it is brighter, which is the sun. Okay, so we are seeing only one side of the moon, but the other side of the moon is more glistening, it's more bright, it's more vivid, it's more beautiful, but we usually face one side of the moon. Okay, so that's why we see it as something like not so bright, but we usually feel it as so bright because it is Purnima. We see it is like a golden plate on the universe or in the sky, plattered with different stars amid different beautiful atmosphere or scenic beauty, we usually say it. But here the catch is that you just see, if moon is in the middle and earth and sun are in the other face, this is Amavasya. Actually this is a new moon. Okay, But if the moon is on the other side, something like this, okay, if the moon is on the other side, this is called full moon. And you would be quite wondering to learn that, please do watch a video on this, but this is quite interesting to learn that you see, sun rays are falling on the moon. You see, we are on the other side of the moon. Here this is obviously night time for us and this is daytime for us, then there is no chance of moon for them. But here we are on the night time side and this is the moon. It do receive some sort of sun's rays, but very light. Okay, this is one side of the moon and the other side of the moon is something of this sort. Okay, so whatever the sun rays we are seeing over here is what appears as beautiful full moon for us. Okay, but whatever the sun rays which are falling, these are very bright glistening sun rays falling on the back side of the moon, but for us being on this side, we see it as complete black or dark. That's what is called as new moon. This is Amavasya. We can't really see the moon because we get blocked or the eyesight get blocked because of the heavy sun rays, and it's not like moon visibility for us. Okay, and the another major point here is that it takes almost 27 days for the moon revolution as well as rotation. This is quite beautiful story about the moon you can observe, and of course moon's wife name is Rohini. Just as I said, it's same story, but yes, you please go and do watch any animation video. You can observe that I was quite taken aback to learn that what the moon we are facing or what we are daily seeing is not actually the moon but the other side of the moon. That means this part of the moon, this face of the moon is very very bright and so beautiful, but we are not able to see it. But this side of the moon, which is quite far away from the sun, this is also beautiful, but not the actual moon. Something like a reflection of the sun's rays on the moon is what we are seeing, and we feel it as the brightest moon, and of course we see it as the complete moon, the golden plate in the beautiful dark sky. But this is not the actual moon. The actual moon is on the other side, but we are not visible to it. I mean, it's not quite visible to us, but it's very beautiful. So just go through these extremes of the sun and the moon.